Musicians are creative artists. We make something out of nothing, and that feels great when it's going well. However, creative burnout is a real thing. It sneaks up on us when we least expect it, and suddenly, music is no fun at all. So how do we push through to the other side and overcome the blues? That's what we're talking about today. I'm Al, this is Al's Drum Hang. We have a lot of information about what causes creative burnout, and it's really important to understand those causes so that we can start to address them. And really, the biggest cause of burnout is stress, internal or external stress. Think about external stress. We all have it. This just comes from the day-to-day things that we can't control that happen around us. Your day job, your family, your friends, your bandmates, your finances. If these are causing you stress, there's some things you can do about some of those, and some of those you can do nothing about. If any of these are causing you stress, there may be things you can do about those things in the short term, but some of the long-term fixes can be very complex, involved, and have other consequences. We're not going to solve your big life problems in the space of this video, and I'm not even going to try. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a counselor. And if you have really serious life-altering stress going on in your life, you need to talk to somebody professional. But maybe we can identify that external stressors are where this creative burnout is coming from, so maybe you can do something about it. There's also internal stress that's often harder to admit and to identify. Sometimes you just are frustrated by something and you don't know what. As musicians, it might be that we don't feel like we're playing well enough. We don't think we're progressing fast enough. We may think that we're taking forever to learn something. Maybe you've been working hard on a creative project. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Maybe you lack certain skills, you lack certain gear, you don't have all the playing opportunities you'd like to have. I know for me, one of my biggest frustrations is that I don't have a place to practice my drums at a moment's notice when I get inspired, and that's frustrating. And when something like that happens, you also don't have a place to practice for your paying gigs or your upcoming projects. That frustrates too. And if you're a content creator like me, not having a place to play drums on the regular can be really frustrating because I want to put content out there for you to watch. And a lot of it so far has been like this because I can't just set up my drums and play them. And internal stress can even come because external stressors have already got you with nothing in the tank, and then the internal stressors just add on top of that, and suddenly you are completely burned out. You get discouraged, you lose motivation to work on it, and maybe a couple of weeks go by without doing anything creative at all. Let's talk about stress. Stress is basically your body's physical reaction to conflict, and in all the cases I listed, the conflict comes because your real life is not meeting your expectations, and those expectations may or may not be realistic. In some cases, especially when those stressors are external, there are steps you can take to make things more livable or to reduce the stress that those external stressors are causing. You can take steps to make your expectations or desires more possible. If you're struggling because of conflicts with your bandmates, you can work on reducing the conflicts you have. Talk them out, come to terms with them. At least say your piece and clear the air with your bandmates. Maybe the right answer for you is to quit the band, but that's definitely a topic for another video. Let's say the stress is in fact internal and it's just blocking your creativity. I developed a couple of techniques that I use to change things up and try and get back into the groove of things. You have to break the pattern that's causing the internal stress, because internal stress tends to be a cycle of thinking. I can't play my drums because I have no place to play them, but I want to play my drums because that's what the content is supposed. See how this kind of circles around. But going in circles in your thinking is like going to the fridge to look for something to eat. You don't see anything. 10 minutes later, you're back at the fridge and you're looking for something to eat as if it just would have magically appeared in those 10 minutes. We do it, and it's crazy, but it's also human nature. So we need to stop expecting something to change on its own and make the change ourselves. We have to break that pattern, break that cycle. If we want something new in the fridge of our mind, we have to go to the store and get it ourselves. Here's some of the things that I have tried to break that pattern and get back into a creative flow of things. The first one is just to experience music. For a lot of us, we're gigging all the time. And experiencing music is no more than waiting a few days till that next gig, and it kind of gives us a little push. Even if we're creatively burned out, a good gig will fire you up. But let's say you have no gigs in the near future, or you're not in a band right now. How do you have that music experience? Well, go to a show and experience live music, the sound washing over you, and the feeling of people being on stage and giving a performance, and that can inspire you. If you're nowhere near where somebody's going to have a gig, do the next best thing. Watch some concerts. Pull up YouTube, there's concerts, full-length ones on there, or at least individual songs. Watch some videos of people having fun playing music. And that's a great way to check out new bands and new music, which can also get us fired up with new ideas. Maybe the thing is to grab the sticks and study. I keep saying I don't have any place to practice, but I do have a practice pad and I have some sticks. So at times I'll just grab the sticks and the pad and I'll work on something. Grab a book like Stick Control or Syncopation and just work on some stuff with your hands. You know, maybe tap your feet for pedals, but just do something, study a little bit. You can get back to basics, and getting back to basics can lead to breakthroughs. Along the same lines, maybe it's a good idea to attend a drum clinic or take a lesson or two if those things are available for you. If you're not anywhere near anybody who gives lessons, maybe you can get a Zoom lesson or an internet lesson of some kind. Having another musician's insight into the instrument and the act of playing may open our eyes to possibilities and ideas that we would have overlooked all by ourselves. Might also be time to study by listening. Sometimes when I'm in a creative rut, I listen to a lot of work by a single artist, or I listen to an artist I haven't listened to before, or I listen to a new genre of music or a genre I haven't listened to a lot. Just to get some new ideas, expose myself to new things, and see if any of that sparks my creative fire. There's new bands and drummers popping up all the time, and the internet is full of short little videos of drummers doing interesting things. Subscribe or follow a few of those, and you'll be getting a daily dose of bite-sized inspiration that might trigger you on to try some new things of your own, or maybe give you some ideas of things that you'd never thought of before. Sometimes, if you do have your kit set up, just changing stuff around can be a great catalyst and get you out of the rut. Take pieces away, add pieces on, move pieces around. Remember when I played my kit left-handed? I'm going to do that again sometime soon. Change out your snares, change out your pedals, change out your cymbals. Change out your head. Sometimes just throwing a new piece of gear on the kit will give you all the inspiration you need. And maybe, just maybe, and this is going to sound crazy, but maybe the best thing to do is to take a break. Just put the sticks down. Have a vacation from being a drummer. Go do something else that isn't related to drumming for a few days, a week, a month even. Read some books, do some crossword puzzles, go on a trip, go to a museum, look at some art, pick up another hobby. Sometimes we get our creative juices flowing again when we're creative in a way that we haven't been before. I know sometimes that when I'm stuck on the drums, I'll go over there and pick up that bass and play along to some songs and try some new things on it. And the next thing I know, I'm like, you know what? This gives me a great idea for a rhythm for a song, and we're off to the races again. But taking a break is awesome. Sometimes we're burned out. There's nothing left in the tank, and we're still trying to crank the engine. There's nothing there. All work and no play is how the saying goes. Well, when you've been working and working and working at music, it can lose its fun, it can lose its spark. Get out there and play. Notice how everything I just listed off is something about shaking up your status quo. You're doing something different. You're not just going back to the fridge expecting food to magically appear. You're going to the store and you're getting something new in your fridge. Novelty is the spark that can get us out of the rut, out of the blues, and back into the creative swing of things. I hope you enjoyed this little talk. Again, if you're just seriously depressed and you're stuck and you're in a rut and external stressors and internal stressors have really got you down, make sure you talk to somebody. If you need to, seek professional help. Remember, this is not professional help. I appreciate all of your views, your likes, your subscribes. Don't forget to click your notifications. I will be back in the swing of making videos. I've had to get over my own creative burnout over the last couple of weeks. I've got another one coming up here pretty soon about, well, you'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Al's Drum Hang.